Do you know the right way to handle raw seafood at home? Welcome to a journey into the world of food safety, where we unravel the do's and don'ts of handling raw seafood. Seafood, a culinary delight for many, can also be a source of foodborne illness if not handled correctly. It's not just about the freshness or the quality, but also the way you handle it from the moment it enters your home. Imagine a beautifully cooked seafood dish lost to the perils of improper handling, leaving you with a less than perfect meal, or worse, a bout of food poisoning. It's a scenario no home cook wishes to face. That's why understanding the right techniques to handle raw seafood at home is of utmost importance. From purchase to preparation, cooking to storing leftovers, every step matters. Stay tuned to discover the most important safety measures you should take when handling raw seafood at home. Let's ensure that our seafood dishes are not just delicious but also safe to eat. The journey of safe seafood starts at the store and extends to your fridge. When it comes to selecting fresh seafood at the store, there are a few key things to look out for. If you're buying whole fish, the eyes should be clear and bright, not cloudy or sunken. The flesh should spring back when pressed, indicating its freshness. The skin should be shiny and scales intact. The gills should be a vibrant red, not brown or gray. As for the smell, fresh fish doesn't smell fishy. It should have a mild scent, reminiscent of the ocean or a clean pond. For shellfish like clams, mussels and oysters, they should be securely closed or snap shut when tapped. If any are open or cracked, it's best to avoid them. For shrimps, prawns and other crustaceans, ensure they're firm to the touch and have a mild scent. Once you've selected your seafood, it's time to consider storage. Proper storage is crucial not only to maintain freshness but also to prevent cross-contamination. When you get home, refrigerate your seafood immediately. For fish, remove it from its packaging, rinse it under cold water, pat it dry, then wrap it in wax paper or foil before placing it in the fridge. It's best to store fish in the coldest part of the fridge, usually at the back. For shellfish, store them in a bowl covered with a damp cloth. Never store them in airtight containers as they need to breathe. It's also important to store seafood separately from other foods. This prevents cross-contamination, which can lead to foodborne illnesses. If you're not planning to consume the seafood within a day or two, consider freezing it. Just remember to thaw it in the fridge, not at room temperature, to avoid bacterial growth. And that's the basics of purchasing and storing seafood. It's all about knowing what to look for and how to properly handle your selections once you bring them home. Remember, proper storage is the first step to safely enjoying your seafood. Scene script? Once you're ready to prepare your seafood, it's vital to keep safety in mind. Now we're moving on to the preparation phase. This phase is crucial, as it's the point where you're most likely to introduce harmful bacteria if you're not careful. Hygiene is of utmost importance, so before you even think about the seafood, wash your hands thoroughly with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds. This should be done before and after handling raw seafood to prevent the spread of any potential bacteria. But it's not just your hands you need to worry about. The surfaces and utensils that you'll be using to prepare your seafood need to be as clean as your hands. Make sure to sanitize your cutting boards, knives, and any other tools that will come into contact with the raw seafood. It's a good practice to have separate cutting boards for seafood and other ingredients to avoid cross-contamination. Now let's talk about the seafood itself. Depending on the type of seafood you're dealing with, the preparation steps may vary. However, there are some general rules that apply to most types. Firstly, remove any visible dirt or debris from the seafood. You can do this by rinsing it under cold running water, but remember, never use hot water as it can start to cook the seafood, altering its texture and flavor. Next, if you're dealing with shellfish, make sure to scrub the shells clean. For fish, you'll want to remove the scales and gut it. This is where a sharp knife comes handy. And for shrimps, remember to devein them. Once cleaned, pat the seafood dry with a clean towel. This not only makes it safer to handle, but also helps in achieving a better sear when cooking. So to quickly recap, hygiene is critical in the preparation phase. Wash your hands and surfaces, clean your seafood properly, and keep your seafood separate from other ingredients. With these preparation steps, you're setting yourself up for a safe and delicious seafood meal. Now let's dive into the cooking process. One of the most crucial steps in preparing seafood at home is cooking it at the right temperature. This isn't just about achieving the perfect texture or flavor, although those are important too. It's primarily about food safety. You see, seafood can harbor harmful bacteria that can make you quite ill if ingested. But don't fret, these bacteria can be easily eliminated by cooking your seafood properly. Now the question arises, how can you be sure you're cooking your seafood at the right temperature? The answer is simple. Use a food thermometer. It's a handy tool that can take the guesswork out of cooking and ensure your seafood is safe to eat. Here's how you do it. Insert the probe of the thermometer into the thickest part of the seafood without touching any bone. For fish, the recommended internal temperature is 145 degrees Fahrenheit or 63 degrees Celsius. For shellfish like clams, mussels and oysters, cook until their shells open. This signals that they've reached the right internal temperature. And remember, if any shells don't open, it's best to discard those as they may not be safe to eat. For shrimps, lobsters and crabs, the flesh should become pearly and opaque. If you're cooking scallops, they should turn milky white or opaque and firm. Again, you can check these with your food thermometer to ensure they've reached the correct temperature. Now, it's essential to remember that every piece of seafood is unique and may require different cooking times and temperatures. So always refer to a reliable cooking guide or recipe to ensure you're cooking your seafood correctly. Remember, undercooked seafood can pose a risk to your health, but overcooking can lead to a less than desirable dining experience. So it's all about finding that sweet spot where your seafood is cooked to perfection and harmful bacteria are eliminated. Proper cooking is key to ensuring your seafood is safe and enjoyable. So grab that food thermometer and let's make your seafood feast a safe and savory one. What about leftovers? They need care too. We've all been there, haven't we? We prepared a delicious seafood feast only to find ourselves with more than we can eat. It's a common scenario, but what's not so common is knowing how to properly handle those leftovers. Let's dive into the do's and don'ts, shall we? First off, the golden rule of seafood leftovers: refrigerate swiftly. Seafood is a perishable item, and the clock starts ticking as soon as it's cooked. Ideally, you want to get those leftovers in the fridge within 2 hours of cooking. By doing this, you're limiting the time the seafood spends in the so-called danger zone. This is the temperature range between 5 and 60 degrees Celsius, where bacteria can multiply rapidly. Now, how should you store these leftovers? It's crucial to place them in a shallow, airtight container. Shallow containers help cool the food quickly and evenly, while airtight ones prevent cross-contamination with other foods in the fridge. And remember, the fridge should be set at a temperature below 5 degrees Celsius to keep your food safe. You might be wondering, how long can I keep these leftovers? The answer is not too long. Seafood leftovers should be consumed within 2 days of refrigeration. After this, the risk of foodborne illness increases. If you're not planning to eat the leftover seafood within this time frame, consider freezing it. Properly packaged, it can last up to 3 months in the freezer. But how about reheating? When you're ready to enjoy your leftovers, ensure they're reheated thoroughly to a minimum internal temperature of 74 degrees Celsius. This is crucial to kill any bacteria that may have grown. And there you have it, a quick guide to handling seafood leftovers. Remember, it's not just about preserving the taste, but also about ensuring the safety of the food you're consuming. Properly handling leftovers will ensure your seafood remains safe to eat. So the next time you find yourself with some leftover seafood, you'll know just what to do. Let's recap what we've learned today. We delved into the importance of proper purchase and storage of raw seafood, highlighting the need to ensure freshness and maintain appropriate temperatures to prevent bacterial growth. In preparation, we stressed the significance of cleanliness, from washing hands and surfaces to using separate cutting boards for seafood and other ingredients, minimizing cross-contamination risks. Our cooking segment underlined the necessity of achieving the right temperatures to kill any potential bacteria, and the use of a food thermometer for precision. We also explored the handling of leftovers, emphasizing the swift cooling and storage in the refrigerator to extend their safe consumption period. In essence, these safety measures are the keys to confidently and safely enjoy raw seafood at home. Your culinary journey with seafood doesn't have to be intimidating. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a comment.